What's going on, guys? Today we have something fun to talk to you about. Everybody's favorite browser, Firefox. What are the lovely tea ladies over at Firefox up to today? Well, if you haven't read, this is like peak irony here. It really is. And I know the Spurgs are gonna say well, if you customize it, it's still a privacy-focused browser. But here, check this out. Ready? Ever since the onset of the Ukraine war, Russia, the invader, and this isn't written by them, so ever since the onset of the Ukraine war, Russia, the invader, has met with stringent sanctions from the Western nations, with many global enterprises suspending or terminating their Moscow-based operations. Oh, the horror. On Monday, March 14th, web browser Mozilla Firefox removed the Russia-based search engine Yandex from its settings and replaced it with the default search of Google. The users of Mozilla Firefox were notified regarding the change today, as per the reports of Telecom Times. Earlier, users were able to use Yandex search for many years on Mozilla Firefox, alongside Google, Wikipedia, DuckDuckGo, Ozon.ru, Price.ru, and many more. Users began receiving notifications on March 14th, stating that starting that day, they'll be unable to use Yandex on the browser. So I think, just to be clear, you can obviously go to Yandex on the browser. It's just not one of the default options. And I'm sure you could still, I don't really know. I don't use Firecrotch, but Tranny Fox, but I'm sure you could jigger, figure out a way to make it your default browser. But this is peak irony here, right? Because it's you have something that was started by a smart guy a long time ago that was focused on privacy, customizability, right, and freedom. And it's literally the inverse of that. So now it's run by stupid people. Right now, it's run by the management class, the blue-haired, ugly people. The ones we referred to earlier, right? The worst people on the planet. Okay, and what do? Right? So it's this privacy-focused browser now is going to default to Google and remove Yandex, right? When Google is literally strictly spyware. I get that it's a good browser, but it's strictly spyware, right? And this is now the default because of some political fucking event, right? That doesn't involve anyone, wouldn't be that big of a deal if the US didn't react the way we reacted, right? It would just be another regional conflict. Who gives a shit, right? Just when Russia seized Crimea, what was that, 6 years ago now? I think 2014-ish. No one cared, nor should they have. And yeah, so it's you now have less freedom, right? You have less customizability, and you have less privacy. Who do the trannies at Firefox think they're serving? And it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Because we believe we're taught to believe in markets. Right? We're taught to believe in supply and demand, right? That basically demand for something is going to drive it in that direction. It's going to become better over time. It'll become more refined. And what we've seen is significant market manipulation and pressure to the point that demand is not met by supply. Oftentimes, what's supplied is something far different from what people actually fucking want. And it's unfortunate. So I've never used I don't use Tranny Fox. It's never been my default browser. It's certainly not going to be my default browser going forward. I think this is kind of funny. I also don't use Yandex for, just to be clear. Although I know everybody always talks about the pictures, right? They have the best pictures. I think they do have really good pictures options, but it wasn't something I used either. But if I wanted to use it, I think I should have an option to fucking use it. That's all I'm asking for, right? That's all I'm asking. And I think that's all I got, guys. Make sure to smash the like button and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. We're out.